Have you ever played a game that's so frustrating and janky at the same time that is completely unbeatable? Have you ever played a game that made you want to bang your head against the wall and cry uncontrollably for hours? Have you ever played a game that's so evil that it pains you to talk about? Well, if you haven't, then let me introduce you to a game called Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. It was released in 2006 and belongs to a long line of PC Barbie video games. Some of those games were fun and enjoyable, but not this one. This one was a dumpster fire waiting to happen. Let's begin with the plot. You start off in a magical secret garden underneath the palace that's entrance is being destroyed by the main antagonist's henchmen via hammer, rendering you and all 12 of your sisters trapped there with no escape. The main antagonist, Rowena, has poisoned your father, the king, and the only way to revive him is through an enchanted elixir that your idiot sister lost because you decided to trust a 5-year-old to keep it safe in the first place. With that, you send your sisters to go find the elixir while you try to find your boyfriend's magic flute, which apparently is your ticket out of here because it has the power to enchant the dance shoes that you and your sisters wear, and dancing will somehow open the entrance back into the palace. Please note that the game doesn't tell you any of this up front, but rather tells you everything as the game progresses, which makes the plot a little hard to follow at times. Regardless, after you find the magic flute, you then journey off to different parts of the magic garden to find all 12 of your sisters, which makes no sense. Why wouldn't you just wait for them to come back to you once they realize that they either have or have not found the elixir? Either way, you collect your sisters one by one and end up finding the elixir all by yourself, making this entire experience equal parts traumatizing and pointless. Nonetheless, you and your sisters dance your way out of the magic garden, save your father, and reclaim the entire kingdom back from Rowena. And at the very end, you decide to get married to your boyfriend. They all lived happily ever after, except playing this game was not a happy experience. The plot that I just relayed to you guys was horribly boring and made zero sense half the time because it was so poorly executed and explained throughout the game. But the suffering doesn't end there. Let's get into the other elements that makes this game so agonizing to play. First, let's talk about what makes this game so hard and unbeatable. To put it shortly, it's the controls or the lack thereof. You see, this game was made for children, and 5-year-olds don't have the best hand-eye coordination. This game's controls are both so sensitive and unresponsive at the same time that it makes it even harder for a child to navigate through. Even as an adult, I'm having issues. You could literally be running towards a gem to collect it and still have to take a dozen U-turns on your way there. Speaking of gems, it's truly a headache-inducing mechanic. Gem collecting might not sound like much, but Rowena's pet monkey coming to steal your gems every 2 seconds and your boyfriend's pet parrot yelling at you to get your gems before they get stolen subjects you to way more stress than what any human should be exposed to when playing a Barbie game. Alright, let's talk about the next element, the gameplay. If there's one word that describes the gameplay, it would be repetitive. From the 4 areas you can explore, you're required to play 3 minigames for each one of them to lure your sisters out of hiding. The first is a basic arrow key dancing game which is very easy to get through, although it becomes a little boring the 3rd time around. The second is where you customize a fountain/fireworks/light display depending on which area you're in. While it's more creative and interesting, it's also much more tedious, so I end up finding myself clicking random settings for each of the displays, although children might be more invested in this kind of stuff. Now, the third is what I call the Twyla games. Twyla is your pet cat, and for whatever reason, any minigame involving her is like me trying to get a C- in my pre-calculus class in high school. Pretty much impossible. While looking through the comment sections of videos about this game, I realized that Twyla was the sole purpose of everybody, and I mean everybody, not being able to beat Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses as a child. Even as an adult, it felt like an eternity before I was able to figure out how to make Twyla jump in the air to catch some flowers. Every time you find a sister, you're once again forced to play another game in which you have to painstakingly choreograph a dance for them, and you have to do this a total of 12 times. This was easily the worst thing you had to do in this entire game. Putting together all the dance moves was okay, although uninspiring, but watching the dance in its entirety after constructing it felt like I lost about 20 years of my life watching an animated woman throw it back. With that being said, let's move on to the ultimate evil of this game, the graphics and the voice acting. Now, it's pretty clear that the graphics are straight up garbage, but I will say that it was a product of its time, and the technology of connecting art to programming wasn't as good as it is today. But would it have killed them to add just a little bit more emotion to the characters, especially regarding their faces and body movements? The entire time, it feels like I'm watching a nightmare of stiff and lifeless puppets talk to each other. Just like the graphics, the voice acting is less than impressive. It has a little more emotion and drama to it, but it still sounds artificially fake and overly happy. Other than that, I really only have one thing to say. Why does Lacey, the youngest daughter, a literal toddler, sound like she's being voiced by a 40-year-old woman who decided to pitch her voice a few octaves up? Overall, Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses is a mess and unnaturally hard to play. It really had no redeeming qualities other than nostalgia. I really suggest spending time playing other games other than this one. Thank you all for watching. This video is different from the content that I usually create, but I really enjoyed making it. If you want to see more videos like this, feel free to comment down below. See you all in the next video.